Hello everybody and teacher. In this presentation we're going to talk about an issue that we found in the hospitality sector. The members of our group are Eymi, Arturo Guerrero, Scarlet, Legonía, Luciana Pelaez, and Yesenia Salvatierra.
My name is Yesenia Salvatierra Chuchon, and I will talk about the first and the second point. The first is choose a particular hospitality sector. The sector that we have choose is the hotelier, since all the members of our work team are hotel career students who feel more identified with this area. In addition, most of our members have had the opportunity to work in this industry, which generates a more detailed and comprehensive approach to work in this area of content change. According to the annual report of the Hotel Society of Peru, SHP, the future is positive for the sector, with the executions of 102 projects totaling an approximately investment of 1,211 million. Number 2. Identify a current problem. The problem that we have identified is the loss of content degree in the hotel industry over the years. Hospitality managers currently face the greatest challenge, which is the automatization of operations and the deshumanization of functions, by which we mean replacing the human workers of the hotel by machines. In countries such as the United States and others, we call them the robotization of hotel services. Basically, in this final project, our goal is to show how the hotel industry is evolving and how it reacts to the millennium generations. We digital natives who have a strong desire to experience or to authentic experience. And these digital natives become the main consumer market in the future.
Hello, my name is Eymi and I'm going to talk about the third point, which is outline the problem that you identified. We think that technology advances are good for globalization and making things faster than before, but each person of this industry must know about this tool can affect in somehow a resource that is essential for experiences to happen, which are human resources. It's important for managers to know because these affect the human resources and they are essential for experiences to happen because the experiences are given by people for people. Our team has identified this problem through many ways, which we are going to explain below. In the first place, many of us have heard about this issue in classes at the university or talks by specialized exhibitors within the hotel industry. On the other hand, the personal experiences of the members of the group give a lot to say. A teammate of us has heard about news in the USA about a protest in front of a hotel that many workers complaining that they were fired without explaining the reasons. And the problem was that the hotel machines were implemented in this reception area and are replacing two receptionists. We think that machines can do tasks faster than people, but they cannot give us experiences like the staff can give us. And the third way to identify this issue is through an interview to a receptionist manager who was kind enough to answer several questions asked by us. Summing up the interview, he explained about the problem already mentioned by us, which is positive for the hotel industry but at the same time has effects against.
Good afternoon, my name is Luciana Pelaez and I'm going to talk about how we feel about the problem and the solution that we consider the best. First, we know that the advance of technology is something that is never going to stop and with the passage of the time it will be continued, and this will make the hospitality industry change a lot over the time. On the one hand, this change can be positive, but there will also be others that will be a disadvantage. That's why it's important to know how to adapt to this change so as not to fall behind and take advantage of this. Talking about our specific problem, the loss of contact degree in the hotel industry due to technology, one of the clearest examples is the use of robots, which causes the loss of contact with guests. The article Hotels Experiment with Robots and Other Technologies show us how the Hena Hotel in Japan and the Hilton McLean in the United States have robots in the reception area. And it is here where we can appreciate certain advantage and disadvantage of having them. Some of the advantages are the punctuality with respect to attention, since the robots are more precise and are already programmed to perform their function without delay. Also, the attention is faster since there is no more contact after fulfilling what the guest requests, and for the same that already has a programming. And finally, it can become more efficient since the mistakes that can be made can be minimal, and these are corrected by changing programming. In the case of the disadvantage, one of the most important is that the robots cannot identify the problems that may arise, and this will also cause a delay. Either can identify certain needs that guests may have. Basically, they will have problems of communication, and this means that there are a distance between the guest and the hotel. Talking about the 5Ps, we focus on the people that in this case are the workers, because they are the most affected with this new advance, because in the long term the hotels will need fewer workers as they will be replaced. This means that in the future the hospitality industry will no longer generate much employment as it currently does in many countries. For us, certain technological advance can facilitate the work of hotel staff, but we don't believe that they should completely replace people and don't allow interaction with guests, as this is the basis of the industry. That's why it's important that when counting on any type of new technology, the staff must be trained so that they know how to handle it and don't overwhelm them. About the solution, we consider that the best is to be able to mix technological advances with human resource, as this will complement and take advantage of the benefits of technological advances as well as that of workers. In addition, good service can be guaranteed because the efficiency will be as good as the warmth and closeness that can be provided to a guest. The main thing is to know how to have a balance. One should not believe that technology is the main thing and the human resource should be left aside, as this could not meet all the needs of customers.
Hi, my name is Arturo Guerrero, and now I will be explaining the suggested empirical managerial methods. The first thing that we must keep in mind is that it's totally true that technology has always been considered like a very useful tool in order to make our lives easier, to be closer to our relatives, make work processes faster, or even get more information while doing an investigation. But when we talk about professional jobs that involves human contact, such as hospitality industry, it must be clear that there's no machine that can replace the human warmth every time that a guest gets to a hotel. That's why we have recovered managerial material from different hotel experts that have proven that we as people must reflect on the relationship that exists between robotic hotel services and deshumanization. The first one is Daniel Politeski, a Canadian engineer. He explains that when he visited the Hinan Hotel in Nagasaki, Japan, the two receptionists were two robots with a reptilian appearance that transmitted an uncomfortable feeling, not only to him, to all the guests that were in that moment. The second expert is Maria Razumik Sek, the regional vice president and general manager of the Peninsula Hotel in Chicago, United States. She explains that we must not let the automatized process and machines take the place of human interaction. The technology is creating more minimalist hotels, significantly affecting the character and even the basic mechanic of the guest stay. That's why some of these experts consider this new era as the dark side of technology in services. A main aspect that we must not forget is that intangible service that we provide, which is summarized in that we are people attending people, the excellent care provided to other human beings, and of course the permanent return and recommendation of the visitor. Some important considerations to mention is that the main disadvantage will be in the level of communication that you can have between the customer and a service provider, because we as professionals, we must identify the different requirements in order to be able to go beyond what the client requires. Also, the most successful hotels will be those that will be able to manage technological progress together with a human resource in order to have a balance between man and machine, because that will be guaranteed to continue responding to the needs and preferences of the client.
Good morning, my name is Scarlet Legonía, and I'm going to talk about the interview we did. Due to time constraints, we decided to send an email to the reception manager, Franco Romero of the Sheraton Hotel, who responded us after 4 days. We made 6 questions, but I'm only going to talk about 3 of them because of time. So the first one is, what problems do you think currently exist in the hotel industry? He told us, the digital age has reached the hotel industry. Today is very important to provide personalized service. And another problem is also about robotization in the hotel industry. Many hotels in the United States have already begun to apply this new method, eliminating jobs for several professionals who have studied 5 years of career to get a good job, so that in the end, a robot takes the victory away from them. The second question is, what do you consider to be the biggest problem of all above? He told us that digitization and robotizations of millions of jobs are emerging as an inevitable trend. This process has already claimed many victims, as I mentioned earlier, at stake in the loss of many business and jobs that will no longer be useful or necessary. An example of this are travel agencies. The three is, how should the industry deal with this problem? He told us, I believe that the first contact with a customer on the front desk cannot disappear. This first contact is what the guest perceives as soon as he enters to the hotel. If it was a robot who was going to be waiting for him personally, I wouldn't feel any connection with the hotel. All the service will be turned just to spending one night. Automatizations might help us at some point, for example, in spending up processes. In that case, could be implemented in the restaurant area where taking the order. Many restaurants couldn't have it. And in conclusion, we can say that the problem of automatization is a real one that is already progressing gradually in several hotels, especially in the United States. We are faced with a serious problem to which we must at least reduce its use to slow down its growth. As a professor explained, it will be good to automatize only simple services that do not put human contact with the guest at risk. Thank you.
To conclude this presentation, there are both advantages and disadvantages to technological advances in the industry, but the important thing is to achieve a balance between this and the capacity that people can have in order to provide a good service. On the other hand, it's important for managers to keep in mind that if they want to automate all services and processes, they must also aware that machines and robots do not have the capacity to analyze or react, even if they are controlled by a network. And also this cannot guarantee that there can be no problems which cannot control. So we consider that the balance is important in this industry because they cannot replace the capacity of reaction and resolution of problems that humans have. Thanks for your attention.